Hello everyone and welcome back. So starting in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the implementation for the smoothing sculpt tool. And I believe Lee's planning on breaking this up into 3 different videos. Is that correct, Lee?
Yeah, it was kind of a tough decision. It was either, one really long, painful video, two, not so long and not so painful videos, or three, and try to not melt anybody's head with going through this.
Okay.
Now, it's not that, it's incredibly complicated. There's just a lot of stuff going on to it, and it's just easier to explain if I do it in parts.
Okay.
That's what we're going to do. So, all right, get to it. Let me know when it's done.
All right, and it's done.
All right, awesome. Good. So now I can go play a video game. Yeah, that's it. All right. Let's see. Smoothing sculpt tool first. Hard edge brush. I'm going to close that for now. We don't need that. Train sculptor. Let me think about the train sculptor. For the moment, I'm pretty sure the train sculptor is almost done. But I'm going to close it for now because I don't think we have to mess with it again until we get to the stencil brush. So we've got our leveling sculpt tool. We don't need that. Let's open up our smoothing sculpt tool. All right, now, if we go back to our raising sculpt tool, and you see all this code that we've got here, and if I go ahead and highlight it, all this code, yeah, we're not copying and using it. Unfortunately, the smoothing tool is nothing like this one.
Okay.
So, don't get your hopes up. It's not going to be as easy as the other ones. All right. I'm going to start by deleting what we have in here. We're not going to be using this. Now, we have this dictionary of vertices. And the reason we have this is we need to make a list of all of our vertices. Up to now, every one of our tools has been getting a list of all the patches that tool is covering, and then it works on each one of those patches individually, and then goes back to the next one and the next one. This guy is going to work a little bit different in the fact that we are trying to smooth out our vertices. So the other system that we use with the other brushes would work fine as long as our brush was in the center of that train patch and did not include any of the edge vertices. The problem is once the brush crosses over an edge of 2, 4, or all the patches in the tray, depending on the size of the brush, it needs to be able to smooth across those patches. And the only way we can smooth across those patches is if we have a single structure that contains every single vertice for all of the patches that we are currently working with. That is the purpose of this dictionary. We're going to build a dictionary that contains all of the vertices with their 3D positions, and we're going to reference them by their 2D along the X and Z axes of that vertex. So that'll allow us to sample all the vertexes or vertices surrounding any given vertex, regardless of what patch they are in. If the brush contains that or is over those patches, this sculpt tool is going to have access to all of that information, be able to do its smooth calculation, and calculate accurately the amount of smoothing that it needs to apply.
Okay.
So to start off with, we're going to jump in and take our vertice list and we're going to clear it. Now the reason we're doing this is, if you remember, once we select the smooth brush, that smooth brush is going to stay active or not the smooth brush, but the smoothing sculpt tool is going to stay active up until the point that the user selects a different type of sculpt tool. Every time they press the button, though, this deform mesh is going to be constantly called. We do not want this vertice dictionary to constantly add more and more records every time this deform mesh is called. So we need to clear this list every single time we run through it. to make sure that we get a fresh list. So once we clear it, we need to do a couple of for eaches. The first for each is going to loop through every patch in our patches list. And I'm going to call this patch. Our next one is going to loop through every patch is mesh filter, mesh.vertices. And we're going to call this vertex. So this is going to iterate through every single vertex in every single patch that has been passed into this method. Once we've gone through this, we're going to create a new vector 2 that is going to hold our key for which that vertex is going to be referenced by. So we'll create a new vector 2, and this will be based off of our vertex.x plus the patch.position.x and vertex.z plus the patch.position.z. This is making sure that this POS or position variable is holding the vertex position in world space, not its local space. So that's what we're adjusting there. We're then going to check to make sure that our vertice dictionary does not contain a key that is of that position. We're making sure that each vertex is only being added once. The reason why is dictionaries don't like duplicate entries. They will give you errors. And because we are specifically looking for every vertex in every patch, we're counting on the fact that there's going to be multiple entries along the boundaries of any two adjoining terrain patches. So what we're doing is we're building a list of all of the vertices, but only one copy of each one in any given position. So if the dictionary doesn't already contain it, we're going to tell vertices to add a new entry, giving it a key of position, and it's going to hold the vertex as the value. So that will create the first part of what we need to do for our deform mesh. We've gone through, looked at every patch, every vertex, and made a list containing only one instance of every vertex that we can reference by just its X and Z coordinate. In the next video, we're going to come back and use that information to calculate a new height for each vertex that is within the range of our brush.
Okay, awesome. So that will wrap up this video. Thanks a lot.